Personal brand. Let's talk about why you should consider building one, how to build it, and how to monetize it. My whole business runs on a personal brand that I've built over the last 5 years, and it's doing pretty well. So I wanted to share some tips and insights on how you can build your personal brand. And in fact, I've decided that I will follow along these steps that I recommend for you in order to build my own personal Masha versus Coding Blonde kind of thing, brand elements, and also website. So let's do this. Before we get into it, I wanted to thank Wix for sponsoring this video. Wix is a website builder that gives you the freedom to create, design, manage, and develop your online presence exactly the way you want to. It enables you to create beautiful custom websites and provides a ton of features that will support your personal brand and business. I've been wanting to build my personal brand website for a while. And again, this is me, Masha personal brand, me, Masha, versus Coding Blonde brand. And today is the day to do that. I will do so using Wix so that you can see how it works behind the scenes. And I will also build some branding elements using it too, alongside me sharing tips on branding and what I think you should do. So yeah, it will be a step-by-step process. And if you feel like you know certain things, there will be chapters also. You will be able to find them in the description, and also I think at the bottom of the video, you'll be able to see what chapter we're on and move on to the next one if you feel like you have that foundation already in place. And if you want to follow along because you're itching to start building your personal brand, please do so, learn more about Wix, and start your website using the link in the description. As always, I want to make sure that we have some foundations in place before we start building things and designing things. So grab a pen and paper or a writing device of your choice, and let's do some exercises. I will also tell you some of my examples or answers for certain of these certain exercises that are about to follow. Let's start with a big one, the purpose of your brand. So write down, what is the purpose? Why are you doing this? Why are you building this brand? What is the why behind it? What is the reason behind it? What are you hoping to achieve? And I would break this answer down into two categories. The first one being, why are you building this brand from a personal or career standpoint? Kind of what is in it for you approach. And then the second one being, what impact are you hoping to have with this brand? Like what is the why when it comes to the impact with what you want to create in this world? I hope that makes sense. For example, for me and for my Masha brand versus Coding Blonde brand, I want to separate myself from Coding Blonde. Coding Blonde isn't Masha and Masha isn't Coding Blonde, if that makes sense. Yes, I built Coding Blonde and it has a lot of my traits, but it's not me, and it talks about certain topics that, I want to have an outlet for some of my thoughts that don't fit the brand. And also I want to make sure that it brings me opportunities. This personal Masha brand, it brings me opportunity later on in life. And when it comes to impact, the why behind my brand is I want to help women feel empowered when it comes to pursuing their passions that are outside of their job or, let's say, professional direction. I want this brand to help them separate their identity from their job title and see it as a more cohesive thing, as a combination of all the different aspects of them, of all of the different dimensions that they are. All right, question number 2 is, who are you hoping to impact? So think about your audience and describe them going way beyond the basic demographical factors like age and gender and, I don't know, maybe marital status kind of thing. Think about who they are. What does their life look like? What is their day-to-day, and what do they think about on a daily basis? What are their fears? What are their dreams? What are they worried about? What are their concerns? What are they hoping to achieve in life? And, what causes do they believe in? What brands do they associate themselves with? Basically, as much information as you can think of to describe who they are. And then question number 3 is, how are you going to impact them? How are you going to change their lives with your brand or with the content that you're creating? What is your mission? Question number 4 is, where do they spend time online? Whether it's social media or any other online channels, where do they spend their time and get their information? Where are they on a regular basis? Make a list of all of those items. And again, if you know a person who fits that criteria of that persona, I know I talk about this in a lot of videos, do some research. Just ask them questions and ask them where they are on a regular basis in terms of social media, and yeah, make a list of it. And exercise or question number 5 is, what are your brand's core values? So now that we have identified your purpose, mission, who your brand is going to serve and how it is going to serve them, it is time to come up with 3 words that are your brand's core values that describe your brand. Pick your words wisely because you want to make sure that they feel right, and these words will actually help us with the visual side of branding, with coming up with your branding elements such as logo, fonts, color scheme, and just general design. So pick 3 words that describe your brand and that you want people to describe your brand as. For example, for me, it's authentic, passionate, and light. And let me show you what I mean when it comes to using these 3 words for your branding elements. Let's switch over to Wix.
Let's start by creating a new website on Wix. And I think the portfolio and CV format would probably fit the best in this case, because I think that's just, kind of the direction in which I want to go with my brand. And yes, I'm going to pick a template. So our words were authentic, passionate, and light, right? Those are the words that I want this brand to feel like. So I've already used this template in one of the things. Let's see this one. I don't love the fact that it's just like a photo staring at people. All right, so after a lot of thought, I've decided that I'm going to go with this template because it is bright and airy, and it has some of the structure that I want in my website. So there it is. The colors don't match what I want to do, and of course there's a lot of customization that needs to happen, but it's going to be pretty easy. So let's go into Theme Manager and choose the colors that I like. So what I'm going to do is just customize this color palette to the colors that feel right to me right now. And there's a whole theory on color theory. So I would do some research on that. And also, those colors need to feel right with your words, right? So for me, again, it was authentic, passionate, and light. So that dictates for me that's how I want my colors to feel. All right, so these colors feel authentic to me. They feel like they represent myself right now. And I love the fact that you can just customize it. And as I was changing them, for example, this element changed, and you can see that these colors are now present within the theme. And basically what I can do is customize what colors will be in which elements, which is absolutely great. I love that. All right, so now that we have that, we are going to customize the fonts. I actually like this font. Let's compare that to my favorite, Montserrat. All right, so we have customized fonts, and again, the fonts should really feel like your 3 words that you have come up with. Now let's go. Oh, this doesn't look good. We'll have to customize this. So as you can see, now we can just use our colors. Let's do it this one. Let's pick this one. I love that. Okay, so it's so easy to come up with shades of things. All right, I like this. Since we're talking about branding elements, let's go into the logo maker and create our logo based on the brand values that we have created for ourselves. So marketing home. And here we have so many different options. We'll get to SEO later, all these different tools, and we're gonna go to logo maker. There it is. Start designing your logo. Okay. No tagline. What's my logo for? Personal site. Yep. How should it feel? They're doing this. I love this. Okay, so it should feel. Let's do playful. I think playful is another word. Which one do I like better? I don't like either of them. What do you want to use? Business cards and website. Let's see. Ooh! I love that. Okay. This one's great. This one's great. Very simple. Very timeless. This one's great. What if I do Masha Z? Let's customize this one. This one is the winner right now. I love this one, except for I'm going to change this color to this one to match what we have. The text, let's see, all black. I like that. Size, great. Change font. I mean, we're gonna have to go with Montserrat because that's just me. Alright, and you know what? I'm gonna have to give in to saying my full last name because I kind of like that. I love that. Okay. I have my logo! Yes!
And step number 6, let's stick with steps for now, is to pick 2 social media channels or 2 channels, online channels, that you're going to use. Let's start with just 2. Let's not overwhelm you. Let's nail these 2 and then add more as you figure out that you have capacity for more consistent content that is high quality for your audience, etc. So out of that list that you've already made of where your audience spends their time online, pick 2 channels. And ideally, I would recommend picking one long form type of social media channel or just channel, such as blog or YouTube, and one lighter one, for example, Instagram or Twitter or, all of those things. For me, it's going to be a blog and Instagram because I already have a personal Instagram account and I will simply add a blog to my website. I do recommend building a website regardless of the social media channels that you choose because it's kind of your landing page. It allows people to land on it and find out what else you have to offer. And it also is easier. It's a smoother experience when it comes to aggregating all of the information about you and all of the content and things that you do, all of the projects, etc. It's just a much smoother online presence experience in my opinion. We're about to build my page, so I'll show you what I mean. And step number 7 is to plan out a sustainable and a consistent content strategy. So once you've picked your channels, let's think about how frequently you're going to post on them and what you're going to post on them. And you want to make sure that that workload is manageable, that you can stay consistent when it comes to how often and what time you post, etc. because all of that stuff matters because algorithm. So really think through your content. And if you're going to have series of content, how is this going to work? How are you going to be able to create all of that, etc.? And to make it easier to come up with content ideas and just what to talk about in general, I recommend coming up with 4 to 6 topics, concrete topics within your niche that you can rotate and create content on, if that makes sense. So for example, at Coding Blonde, I create content about technology, women in tech, career, personal development, and entrepreneurship. And most of my content will be able to go under at least one of those buckets. Make sure that your plan is sustainable though. You don't want to overwhelm yourself with too much workload, because creating content, posting content is one thing, but creating it is the bottom of the iceberg that most people don't see. And you've got to be pretty organized for that in order to post consistently. Start small and build up from that if needed. And of course, make sure that you infuse your content with your branding elements and assets, and make sure that your core values are shining through. We want to make sure that your brand has a consistent feel. And here are some quick tips for content creation. Tip number 1 is batch your content creation. Batch the filming, batch the ideation, batch the editing. Whatever you can batch, just batch that. And by batch, I mean, if you're not familiar with the term, it just means put it all together and just like do multiple things in one chunk. Because this way your brain doesn't have to switch between the different tasks, and it's kind of doing in like has found the rhythm, and it's just easier and much quicker that way. Trust me. Don't be afraid to speak up about the issues and causes that you believe in. Be human, like this is your brand. And speaking of that, show personality. Again, this is your brand. But at the same time, it is very easy to overshare, and sometimes you don't know where your personality ends and where your brand starts, and like just merge into one. So be intentional about what you share online and about what you keep private. You would be surprised by how much I keep private. Well, Coding Blonde is a separate brand, right? But even with this brand, you will be surprised by how much I will be keeping private, and I will have certain boundaries that I've created for myself intentionally that I will be following in terms of, okay, so this personal topic I can talk about. This I will not talk about. And this is my choice. So be intentional about it for your brand. Speaking of boundaries, make sure that you create boundaries not just with how much you share, but also where does, I don't know, virtual, real life, like where do they merge, where do they stop, right? For example, maybe you don't respond to any messages on weekends, or you treat DMs as emails. That's what I've started doing. I treat DMs as emails because I get so many and I get overwhelmed, and it's just a lot, and I want to make sure that I have time for myself, and I've created that boundary for me. So create boundaries for you. And finally, focus on adding value to your audience. Whatever you do, you want to make sure that you're adding value, whether it's educational value, inspirational value, or entertainment value. You want to make sure that you're adding value, because that's why people will be coming back to your social media channels. All right, let's get back to my website and build it out a bit more. I won't do everything, and I won't write the copy right now, just for the sake of not having this video 3 hours long, but you will get the picture of what I'm doing. And once I'm done with that, we will talk about monetization and monetizing your content, your personal brand. So let's get into the website.
All right, so it's time to build out the website, because right now it's all about this Ashley. I don't know who she is. Let's make it about me, you know? But so the structure of the website, what do I want? I want it to briefly tell who I am and what's my experience in life and career. I wanted to share Coding Blonde as something that I am working on, and I like the fact that this template has an opportunity to add YouTube templates, YouTube videos into the design. So I'm going to customize that with Coding Blonde videos, and I'm also going to have a form, and I'm also going to have a blog, and I'm going to have my Instagram, LinkedIn. So that's a very basic structure that I'm going to start with. Let's do it. Welcome to my personal page. You know what? Instead of a button here, I'm going to keep this layout. I'm going to add an image with my logo. Okay, so let's do image. My uploads, I don't have anything there, but we will have there something in there really quickly. I just unzipped the file that I got from Wix, and I even have a logo color guide auto-generated. That's amazing. Okay, I have so many different things that I can use. What? It also generates all these things. Crazy. And I have a favicon, of course. Great. Okay, we're gonna use original on transparent. Add to page. And I'm going to make this a button. Page, home, this. Great. Amazing. Current window. Goodbye, Ashley button. Let's change strip background to a picture of, I guess I'll upload a picture of me. Great. You know what? I don't like this whole Masha thing. What we're going to do is we're going to place this. I'm going to make it a heading. Great. I love this. Might change the fonts later on because I'm not in love with this, but this is great. Pin to screen. I want to pin it at the same space 35. Okay, 35, 70. Let's do that. 35, 70. What does that do? Yeah, that's good. Maybe 80. Great. Because that's in line with the image. Yes, perfect. I like that. All right, and so here we can say Coding Blonde. All right, let's link some videos. Ooh, yes. All right, I can add multiple videos at a time, which is great. So we're gonna just have a couple of YouTube videos out there. I look like a crazy person, just like the crazy person I am. So I actually just want a smaller slider because I think that will look classier and that will help me showcase more things without being obnoxious. I want to change the button color and look how easy it's gonna be. Oh my god, now that we have our colors chosen, I like this. My baby Coding Blonde, and then I'm going to add some text here. Basically, let's stretch out this section. I'm going to add some text here just to show you how I would do it, to share more about my baby. Right, so paragraphs, let's add a paragraph. And I'm going to use, you guessed it, my favorite cupcake lorem ipsum. So let's add this. I'm just gonna leave it as that for now. Because I think this is enough for demonstration purposes. And then column background. This is where we're going to upload yet another photo. Luckily, I have a lot of photos of myself, so that's not going to be difficult. Complete. Here's me. We're going to link our Instagram. My Instagram has not been touched in a while, that account. But we're still going to connect it, and I'm going to revive it. I swear. I'm going to revive it with my new passion, which is plants. That's the first thing I'm going to be talking about on my outlet. But I mean, look at all those roots. I'm a propagation queen, self-proclaimed right now. Yeah. So, actually, you know what? For the time being, let's connect Coding Blonde's Instagram account, and then I'll connect my real one once I'm ready. And this might be a little obnoxious. Maybe we make it smaller. Let's look at the layout. How can we have... Let's start with a slider. Yeah, prefer this. I much prefer this. Oh, and amazing. There's a form. I'm going to talk about the form later on, but I'm going to remove this let's chat thing because that's just not something that I'm going to have on my website straight away. But the great thing is that if you feel like this is a functionality that is going to add value to you, you can do it through Wix. Like there's an app for that, which is great. Let's delete that. Great. So we have my vlog. Let's change the menu. We're going to edit this stuff. Rename Coding Blonde. I'm actually going to switch places between Coding Blonde and About Me because this page is about me. If you press my vlog, you go here. It's Coding Blonde. Right, let's rename this anchor Coding Blonde. So when it presses Coding Blonde, it takes you to the anchor called Coding Blonde. Then if you press About Me, that's where it goes. Let's rename this anchor About Me. When I do start posting blog posts, this is where I'm going to add a strip like this, like this one with the blog posts, like recent blog posts or something like that. And it can be like my thoughts. And also this text needs to be moved, but yeah. But for now, I'm just going to add a little strip in here that's just going to separate them using one of my brand. This is good. I love that. Okay, this is great. I like the font. I like the fact that it lights up. I just want to rename this anchor because it's out of date. Contact. And my life is going to be Instagram. So one more thing that I want to do is let's customize these social links. Super easy to do. You've seen me do that in other videos too. All you need to do is go into the link manager. I don't know if this tool is called link manager, but I love it. I am so on board with it, and just add your social links, which for me is everything/Coding Blonde. A new window. Yes, it opens a new window. Don't have Snapchat. Let's delete that. Bye, Snapchat. For now, I'm just going to put Coding Blonde in there because that is the easiest. Right now, I still have not done a lot of progress on my personal social media, but this is going to be perfect for now. So that social bar is doing well, and we're going to update this social bar too. And I will actually, let's add LinkedIn right now. I'll add it on both. Add icons. Let's find LinkedIn. Done. So the last thing that I want to do is to make sure that this header freezes. Okay, so it's this simple. And let's preview this. Woo! Maybe I'll make the header slightly transparent. We're all good. Yes, I love this. This is great structure.
Monetization. Depending on your starting point, you might not be able to monetize your brand straight away. However, it is good to plan for that. And here are some ways in which you can eventually, or right now, make money with your brand. Speaking engagements. Pretty self-explanatory. You speak at an event and get paid for it. Brand sponsorships. And it can be whether just standalone campaigns or full-on brand ambassadorship. Affiliate marketing, which basically means you're recommending products that you truly believe in and love, and you share them with a link that has a tracking code. And whenever somebody converts or makes a sale, essentially, using your link, you will make a certain commission. They are not charged more for that product. It's just that commission comes out of the margin of the producer of that product or service. Ads, you can sell ad space on your social media or website. And finally, selling your own products, whether digital or tangible. Those are the ways that really stand out to me. However, this is not an exhaustive list. There are many more that you can also use, but you just gotta be creative. You gotta hustle when it comes to this. All right, so to prepare my website for monetization, or my personal brand for monetization, I'm simply going to add a contact form on my website in order to collect partnership and speaking requests. I think, in my opinion, I think that's one of the easiest ways to do that without overthinking it, overcomplicating it, etc. So let's add this form.
So we already have a form built in. All I need to do is customize it. What I love about Wix is Wix has a CRM, right? Client relationship manager management system. Basically, whenever something comes in, you have a workflow with them, and I love that. And you can automate certain things, etc. So I'm going to start with a simple one, but I will build up something more concrete eventually. So here I would theoretically list some ideas about speaking engagements or, formats of how we could work together. So first name, last name, email, type your message here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new field. It's going to be a drop-down field. It's going to be a drop-down field. So type of collaboration. Let's just restrict it to those three for now. I think that's good. And I want to move that up. This field is required. Yes, it is. Edit field. All right, so submit button has been changed, and I'm going to move it to the middle of the form just because that feels right. And then I'm going to add this text. And finally, what I want to do is change strip background. Let's see what color works well. I like this. This is nice. Part of my color palette. And I guess the only thing that I need to do now is edit the form colors. Wonderful. I love this.
And finally, like I said, I'm going to add a blog, and Wix makes it super easy with their blog app. So I'm going to do that. And I'm also going to optimize this website for SEO because you need to be found. You need to be optimized in order to come up in search. If somebody searches for your name or if you optimize it for what you do, etc. So let's do this.
Now that we have the website, let's add a blog and optimize it for SEO because might as well. And the thing is, blogging will help you with SEO to begin with. So to start a blog, all you have to do is go into, so there's so many different things, right? Here are different apps, etc. But this is the blog app. So all you need to do is say, start your blog, and there it is. And you can even create one with a members area. Not for me at this point for this particular project, but that's an option if you want to. And there we go. You have a blog. There it is. Like, it's loading things up already. Like, I'm going to delete these posts. I guess this is the only one that I'm going to show right now, just so that I have some sort of placeholder in there. But yeah, you can see that it adjusts automatically. So I assume this is a new page. Yes, this is a new page. And I'm going to add it to the home button. I'm going to add a strip with my blog posts. So just drag a little anchor here, and it's going to be blog. Thoughts? Awesome. I love this. Let's optimize for SEO. Go to SEO tools and optimize ourselves. Get found on Google. Yes. Start now. Create SEO plan for my keywords. I really need to think about this, so I'm not going to finish this process while we're on camera here with you, but you get the picture. It's going to take me through the different steps that will help me optimize my website for SEO. First, the homepage and like headings, all that stuff. And then it's going to take me through a process of improving the different pages SEO, and then gives me tips on how to improve my SEO when it comes to my usage of the website after that. So yeah, this is awesome. I love it. And I used to work for an SEO company, and this I know what it's doing, and it's like it just basically takes you through the steps that a lot of these companies offer you for however much money. It's crazy. And this is included in the plan, so that's great. All right, so I think we're done here. This is awesome. I love this website. Of course, I'm going to make some changes and like edit more images and customizations, but this is it. We're done.
I'm so excited that I finally built this. I've been planning to do this for a while, but of course I've been procrastinating unnecessarily. And all I need to do right now, I think, is to polish it off with some copy and maybe add a couple of additional images, and it will be basically ready. Don't procrastinate either, and enhance your personal brand with Wix and all of the handy tools that it offers. Use the link in my description to find out more and get started. So there you have it, steps to building your personal brand and a sneak peek on my personal brand. We've covered a lot in this video, so let me know in the comments if you have any questions, because I will be very happy to continue this conversation there and help solve any doubts that you may have. Like this video if you've enjoyed it, and share with a friend who is also looking to build or enhance their personal brand. We can also be friends on other social media. You can find me as Coding Blonde. Have a wonderful time today you're currently experiencing. Bye.